My name is Naveed and I'm gonna moderate today's session. And with me, being joined by two fabulous people, Bikram Shrestha from Nepal and Aamer Hayat Bhandara from Pakistan. Before we go into the substance, let me just quickly give some housekeeping rules. So, the session is being interpreted in Spanish and French. We also have closed captioning available. There's a chat window on your right side where you can post your comments, questions, or maybe introduce yourself, put your first name, your question, or maybe tell us from where you're joining us. We'll be taking questions at the end of the session, but feel free to put any question while our speakers will be giving their presentation. This event is being guided by Internet Society Code of Conduct, and we ask the participants and the people who are joining us today to engage responsibly and respectfully. Well, of course, you all will be, but it's just something that I wanted to remind all of you. For those of you who are on social media, please do follow us and use hashtag CommunityWeek21. So the people, your followers, and everyone can see what's happening here and what we're talking about today. So today we're going to talk about community networks, something which is very near to my heart, something that I've been working for years in Asia Pacific, and something that brings connectivity to the people who are not connected. Community networks, in essence, are networks which are built by the people for the people. So they are different than traditional mobile networks or ISPs per se, and they actually address the needs of most remote rural areas where there is no connectivity. And with me, when we'll be hearing Bikram and Aamer, they will telling you more about their work in their respective communities. And I'm sure you all will be inspired by their work, and I'll really encourage all of you to ask questions because I'm sure this session would be of a lot of learning and inspiration for all of us. So without further ado, let me invite my friend Bikram Shrestha from Nepal. Bikram, please tell us about your story and what are you doing in Nepal?
Hello and namaste. My name is Bikram Shrestha. I'm the president for Nepal Internet Foundation and past president of Internet Society Nepal, and co-chair of Cooperation Sikh EPINIC and vice chair of Nepal Internet Governance Forum. And I have different hats in Nepal, as well as I am professionally working in Sanima Bank as a digital banking department head and technical coordinator for Card Industry Council of Nepal, is under Banker Association of Nepal. So thank you very much, Naveed, and all the teams to providing me this such a wonderful opportunity to share some of my experience and some of our community network, which we have already started in different places of Nepal. So the main area we have been working in Nepal is most affected area of after this earthquake. So the ongoing project which we have been doing in Nepal, the main goal and objective of this project is is smart method, specific, measurable, attainable, and realistic and time-bound to provide high-speed, stable, open, free, and reliable internet. So to provide ICT service with free content, we have maintained the content also there in local area network, and to provide technical skill to operate that ICT hub, which we had already set up, and to facilitate, communicate, and information flow required for the rebuild process, and to provide a model of the community ICT hub for other interested group to replicate in other villages or areas. So this why we select this Uttar Gaya, why Uttar Gaya, this place. This place basically is one of the most affected district in during this earthquake, 2015, 7.8 magnitude. So many people, many lives and houses were destroyed during that time, and they are forced to leave that place, and they have shifted in forced to shift in the tin house with the congested condition. And we have observed that from for the betterment of their life, they have to go abroad and for the other place. This place is basically in the bank of Trishuli river. The Khalti was the Khalte. The name is the Khalte, and was settled after the earthquake 2015 without the basic necessity. So the main the total population is almost more than 600 people and 200 household there, more than 200 household, and they don't have internet access during while we visit their place. And now we had set up their community hub, community network, and now they are able to access that internet. And the most challenging they have been facing, before providing internet to the community network, the student could not make study during this pandemic, and they forced to use this 3G or 2G network because it's very expensive and they couldn't affordable. So that's one challenge they have been facing. And talking to their near and dear one in abroad and in urban area, so that's the second challenge. And other is the most of the main profession of the people in this area are agricultural and handmade handicraft dhakas goods, but they don't have a marketplace to sell that product. And I think with this arrangement, they can able to focus on e-business. So that's the issue. So beside this, before the pandemic and after the earthquake, we had Beyond the Net project, and that project we did three earthquake affected place. That is, one is Nilkanta municipality, ward number 8, Ramko, that's other part of the district is Tading, and one is Kabre VDC, and that the place name is Mainapokuri, is it's in Kabre district. So other one is Melamchi, that is Grand Shore, it's in Sindupalchuk. So we have set up that before this pandemic, but now it's running smoothly. But some challenges also there. So I will share that challenges in coming during our discussion. So these are our team during we established this community network. And the student at Ramko Dading, they are studying during their class. So another one is it's on Mainapokuri. We have a separate community network, and they have been studying and student learning this digital class. So the rural community access to information society, we have provided almost in Nepal we had 4 projects, and that project is ongoing. And the main objective and the main expectation outcome is benefiting end users and the community network themselves with cost-oriented approach. encouraging digital literacy, empowering the knowledge of local people on the use of ICT, and there may reduce a digital divide, creating new working opportunity. A significant number of people from the project, and the moral of the course to live the better life is restored in the project implementation. The human relationship to local people reestablished. So there are some experience during this course. They have shared their issues and challenges. Januka Orial, she was a entrepreneur, and she's running her own business. And she, if she get the internet, then she will go with the online business. And some of the experience sharing by Chanching Tamang. She is a student of 12 years in 12th grade, but she is having problem during the study during the COVID pandemic, and she is not able to study. So now she is able to study with this community network. And Nirmala Acharya, she is a housewife, and she is totally dependent with her husband, and she need to talk with her son or daughter who is in abroad and or urban urban areas. So if she get this community network, then she will have this own social media or social access, social apps access, so that she can talk with her near and dear one. This is our experience. So during this this project, we came to know that community network have been very effective and amazing alternative to last mile internet access, especially during the COVID pandemic. And we have provided this community with the free content also, so they can access that content, and they can learn more. So thank you, Naveed. Over to Naveed for if there is any more questions.
Thank you so much, Bikram. Yeah, folks, if you have any questions, please start putting them in the chat, and we'll take them after we hear from Aamer, Hayat, Bhandara. But Bikram, I think one thing that really struck me was that this community network is connecting the internally displaced people who were affected from the 2015 earthquake. So that's I think that's itself is a great work. And then when I see the entrepreneur, that student, that mother who can talk with her family abroad, these are those local contexts. That's why we say it's important to bring the people through community networks, so they can build their own network, and these examples really set the pace on how important the connectivity is for different people, even inside a similar community. So thank you so much, Bikram. I'll of course ask the questions after we hear from Aamer Bhandara. So Aamer Bhandara will tell now his story. He's been I'm really inspired by this person. He's a farmer by profession. He runs his own startup, Agriculture Republic, and it's like something happened last year. We just had a conversation over a phone, and that has actually became a reality now. So Aamer, I'll not take more of your time. Please tell us what has been happening in your village in Punjab, Pakistan.
Thank you very much, Naveed, and thank you very much, Internet Society, for providing me an opportunity to speak about not only my but your project in Pakistan for the support of Pakistani people. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Next slide, please. Well, I'm Aamer Bhandara. As Mr. Naveed had told a little about me, I'm basically a farmer, and me and my friend Fuad created Agriculture Republic, and that actually that was helped by the Internet Society to move forward for this community network. I'm going to share with all of your participants. Next slide, please. Well, if I'm talking about the agriculture background of Pakistan, agriculture in Pakistan is contributing about more than 21% of its contribution into the national GDP, and 80% of the total exports are relevant to agriculture. 48% labor force is engaged in this sector, and still it is the sector that is providing unskilled labor a huge opportunity. Punjab province, I mean, out of total cultivated area, 57% of the total area is in Punjab, and 69% is of the total cropped area, which means that it is the bread basket of Pakistan. Next. Next slide, please. If we talk about, you can go next again. If you talk about food, food is, I mean, a precious scarce source, and in the current situation when we have a lot of challenges, it requires, I mean, a lot of inputs, data, information, advisory, and technology. For that, next slide, please. If I discuss about the Pakistani agriculture sector, it is still an unorganized sector. We have very low level cellular and internet connectivity. People do not have skills. Technology is not available. Brain drain is like youth is moving towards cities, and that is another challenge that is creating, I mean, impacting the national economy and impacting the national resources as well. Youth and women are not, I mean, exploiting the freelancing and e-commerce opportunities, which can be done if internet is proper available in the rural areas of Pakistan. So if there is no internet, people are really unaware about internet governance, and they do not know about their rights. So I mean, they are unable to experience internet in Pakistan in the localities in the rural areas. Next. Next slide, please. Agriculture Republic, I told you earlier, it was co-founded by me and my friend, and which is the Pakistan's first food security policy and rural innovation startup. We are empowering small farmers to access agriculture inputs, innovations to address pressing agriculture-related issues like climate change, technology. I've already informed you that what type of information and data is required. That is the thing we are helping them around to achieve the food productivity and to ensure the food security to the nation. Next slide. This is the team of Agriculture Republic who actually started this idea to ensure national food security, taking small and marginalized communities of small farmers forward. Is my co-founder. He's the CEO of Agriculture Republic now, entrepreneur, and ISOC member as well. Next slide, please. Well, since May 2020, Agriculture Republic has conducted some 11 national consultations in Pakistan, and those impacted more than 60% of these consultations impacted the national policy somewhere in the stabilizing the crop rates, starting the innovation in some areas, including some technological implementation through this group, and the rural technological innovation in October 2021 with the support of Internet Society. We deployed the Digital Agriculture Community Network to provide internet to the marginalized community, establishing a digital data that's like a farmer learning center, and rural agriculture business incubator to help youth and rural women to learn and to execute their ideas, what they have in their minds. So this is first of its kind in a vicinity like Pakistan, or perhaps in the world. Next. Digital Agriculture Community Network is primarily funded and technically advised by Internet Society Global. Accountability Lab provides strategic management. Internet is provided by PTCL. Farmer community was, supported by the Hayat farms. This center is actually going to impact 1,500 small farmers and what I believe 16,000 to 18,000 rural community members in 5 villages in the surrounding of the site. Next. Well, this is the map I was telling about you that this is going to impact some 16 to 18,000 community members. The red dot is the central place of the connectivity, and we have established one in this the dark blue, and all these 5 villages people are directly getting benefit from that digital data which has been established in Pakpatan. Next slide. This is some work going. We have prepared our local champions to jump in and do everything themselves. This is the installation of the main tower, which provided P2P connectivity one side from the internet hub to the rural villages. Next slide. These are our local champions. They are the local youth. Actually, these are the guys which were trained by us, and now they have implemented one of its kind project in Pakistan. Next slide. The local work is being done by them, and these are sitting just in front of the digital data we have established. Next slide. Digital data, the first digital data, what I've already informed you, and this was supported by initially and majorly by the Internet Society, the Agriculture Republic, Hayat Farms, and Accountability Lab. Next slide. This is on the launching ceremony. This was the front of the data. This is in Urdu. You can see one side it sits in digital data in English. Let me just give you an overview of what the digital data is. Data is a local language name in Punjabi. That's the place. It's the common place in every village where farmers can come, sit together to discuss their problems. Why we decided the name digital data. Digital data was the major theme behind this name was the place where farmers can gather and digitally solve their problems in the agriculture sector to sustain their livelihoods and uplift their social and financial status of their living standards and contribute to the national economy through agriculture productivity enhancement. Next slide. And the important thing is that this is all solar powered. We do not need any state power generation. It is all run by the solar energy, the sustainable energy to run all the operations of the center there, which is called digital data. Next slide. These are the people getting benefit. We have the latest laptops available there. We have latest tablets available there. We have projector and a screen to conduct trainings and sessions for capacity building of the farmers. These are the people actually getting physical benefit from the volunteers, from the local champions who are trained to help them out. Next slide. This is the digital data covered by, this is now a keyword. If you just Google it, you will see the digital data is a keyword on Google. You can see a lot of, references there to read. Next slide. This was one of its kind. I already told you that all the national and international news agencies were really interested in. Next slide. These are just a few cuttings of all the credible and authentic newspapers of not only Pakistan, but some international newspapers as well, who covered the story and the launching and the impact of the digital data. in the local communities and agriculture sector of Pakistan at large. Next slide. This was the physical training, and it was the training was led by me, where around 20 male farmers and some 15 female farmers and 5 students attended that training on digital data. And this picture is from the screen of my co-founder, who was sitting some 200 kilometers away and was live communicating with the farmers and the participants about what digital data is and what the digital agriculture is and how digital data is going to support. That was the first training we did on 11th November, perhaps last week. Next slide. I think me, my area, my co-founder, and perhaps all the Pakistan is thankful to Internet Society for this work. Me and my co-founder, you can see in the picture, we were invited by a provincial government in Pakistan to let them understand what the concept of digital data is. So the Internet Society and Agriculture Republic's digital data is taking interest from the national Pakistani nation. Next slide. This is the Vision 2021 that was written by me, and where we discussed everything about digitalization and how digital data can help to achieve the sustainable development and sustainable agriculture with enhanced productivity to help not only Pakistani economy, but the local farmers as well. This was published by one of the leading authentic national newspaper, Dawn. Next slide. Again, thank you very much for all your support to establish first of its kind center only for the rural and the farming community to help them sustain in their livelihoods and to contribute positively in productivity in the national economy. Thank you very much. I'm open to the question if there is any.
Yeah, let's jump into the questions. Thank you so much, Aamer, for the presentation, and rightly spot on. And you know, an agriculture-based economy does require these kind of connectivity solutions to help the farmers understand the technology and give them access to the internet. So really inspiring and good to see the work that the Agriculture Republic is doing in Pakistan. So I already have a question. In fact, before going to the question, I just want to give a reminder to our audience that if they need closed captioning, please do refresh your browser so you can see the closed captioning as well. Now, the question that I got in the chat is from Yusuf Amado, and the question is to Bikram, and it's a very plain question saying that this was a very insightful presentation, and how do you fund the project? So how do you get the funding for the project?
Thank you, Yusuf, for your questions. It's very simple questions. Because of Internet Society and with the local partners in Nepal, we are able to make it successful community network hub we established in different areas of Nepal. So it's a hybrid kind of fund. We had some fund from the Internet Society global, and then we collect some fund from the local sponsors and supporters, and that's how we have been working in Nepal. So this is not a one project, and we are trying to make it more because in urban area we can have easily internet access. For the rural area, it's very Nepal geographical region is very diverse, and in mountain areas it's very difficult to reach there. So my next plan is to go to this Annapurna base camp or Everest base camp. That's our main. We are looking for the internet is for everyone.
Well, Annapurna base camp. Oh my God, or Mount Everest. So Folks, if you don't know, Annapurna is one of the highest mountains in Nepal. I had an opportunity to see the sunrise, and it's beautiful. But Mount Everest base camp, or really Bikram, that would be something. And I think Aamer, because you have Mount Everest, and Pakistan has K2, which is the second highest peak. So perhaps there could be some synergies to build such kind of connectivity in those highest peak base camps. But that would be fabulous, because I know there is so many interest, not only from the tourists but also from the people who do the summit, the climbers. During the peak season, they equally go to the north of Pakistan and also in Nepal to summit Mount Everest or K2 or other peaks. But that's very interesting idea. I think that's something which would be really interesting to see. Putting a community network in highest mountains of the world, actually. So I don't see any questions, but let me continue the discussion, and perhaps I'll come to Aamer. Aamer, tell us. So when I go through your presentation, one message I get, and please correct me, is that being an agriculture-based economy, there have not been much attention given by the stakeholders, by policymakers, to make sure that the farmers can be equipped by internet and digital technology, which can help them to, of course, bring more efficiency, save time, and also, practice some of the technologies that a lot of the other countries are already following. Because I know there is a soil moisture, there are drones which are being used for pesticides, and there are automated irrigation systems being deployed. So there's huge amount of elements or applications which are out there. But what I hear from you, perhaps Digital Data has started that in Pakistan. What kind of support have you already received from the government, or how do you see this going into the future? Because I think organizations like yours, of course, can make a lot of change, but it's always important that you get a more, support from more powerful circles, if I can say them, because then it brings a more revolution at a country level. So tell us about what has been the support by the government and how you see the future.
Well, thank you very much. A very, very brilliant question, Naveed. Government has, if I talk about government is actually learning from our model. That what we did in collaboration with the Internet Society and support by the Internet Society, this is something very new. Government was planning for since long. They had an idea about smart villages, but how to execute that idea, that was a challenge. So this data is actually providing a foundation for the government to let their future project go on through these this project. And when you're talking about the internet and technology, you were right. Policymakers haven't played a bigger role to provide all the internet or technological solutions in the excess of a small and medium scale farming community. But during my presentation, I've already told you that for better productivity, for better decision in agriculture, you have to have data, you have to have information, you have to have advisory, and you have to have technology. But without internet, how you can even imagine to grow fly a drone for satellite imagery or as a prey? Without having internet in the farm or in the rural area, how you can even just get the weather advisory, a very basic level weather advisory for next 7 days? If you do not have proper data, actually you do not have a power to decide what to do for next season or next day or next crop. So I believe this type of setup, which is physical, as you know, the Pakistani farming market, all the people are not very much educated, and most of the people do not know even how to utilize a smartphone. So this data is actually providing them a physical space to come in, and if they do not know even to write and read, they can ask the local champions who are trained for this, that in a local language, verbally they can provide us advisory for next 4 days or 5 days or 7 days. Well, answer to your question about technology and what is happening on the digital data. Beside that, we are about to start automation of tube wells. A device is on a pilot stage at an associated farm with digital data that is being controlled by the smartphone. Well, if you are away from the tube well or the water pump, you can operate that. And similarly, we are working on to install some sensors to understand and to get the real-time information how much water is needed to the crop, how much moisture is in the air, and how much water fertilizer is required, which type of fertilizer is required for what crop. So that all will be happening with this digital data setup because it is internet. Otherwise, without this, we can just dream that what is going to be the future of agriculture in a country like Pakistan and how to decide. So these are the things we are working on, and digital data will helping us to revolutionize digital agriculture in Pakistan.
Fabulous. I think one particular interest from my side would have been how these networks have empowered the local people. So, Aamer, you told us about this community network champions. I saw when Bikram was telling us, the local people are involved. So it's not as you are just providing internet access, but you are making it sustainable by the involvement of the local people, which I think is a very important aspect of a success. Because eventually these are the people who have to manage and run those networks. And beyond that, there is a lot of learning as well that comes with this, So I'm sure, Bikram, if I ask you, what was your experience when you went to that community, the internal displaced people, with a mix of, young population and also some old generation? How did they perceive this internet? I mean, what were their initial impression? Because I have also seen that the buy-in from the community is very important. You cannot sell anything, whether it's internet or it's a product, until you have the buy-in from the community. So what was the initial impression from the community in Uttara Gaya, Bikram? That's my first question. The second part of the same question is about the content. One of the problems that I see is that a lot of our young generation are into social media, YouTube, Facebook, etc., which is okay, it's part of the internet, but somehow they take it as the internet itself, as a whole. They think internet is only about, putting something on Google or watching some videos on YouTube or doing some social media stuff. So how are you gonna break that myth? How are you gonna address that challenge to make sure that the people in Uttara Gaya are able to get the real content, which is of benefit? And it's not in English, because English is another problem in our countries. You go to rural population, people cannot speak English. Come on, I mean they just cannot, and for them it's really hard to understand content in English. So Bikram, I think I've put a couple of questions and couple of angles. I'll like to hear it from you, and then I'll have the same questions for Aamer as well. So Bikram, first you.
Thank you, Naveed. First of all, we identified that location with some of my internal resources that from the banking side. So, and one of our colleague, the Girish, also is involved in this project. He is an expert in making this community network. So, first of all, we try to make it 4 Ps. 4 Ps means public, private, and we used to say panchayat and partnership. That's our main model to punch that areas. And we had a request to the community, the local government official. We can easily identify them, and we came to know that there is reputed villages, the chairperson, and we collect them all in one place. And we had one event during our visit, and we had in-depth discussion the challenges and opportunities and the benefit. But everyone is trying to have this community network is there in own oras. There is 5 ora villages, and they want to try to collect. But we convince them to first we will have this community network in the central area, the affected area, and then we convince them, and we get support from them locally, government officer also. And that's how we have been approaching, and the community is very acceptable for this. And I do have lots of videos, but it's very limited time. We have 4 minutes, but I can show that videos also. But that's our strategy we made to 4 Ps: public, private, and this Panchayat kind of things and partnership, and then we go through. But during the regarding content, we had supporting organization Midas E-Class, the learning platform. That's in Nepal. From 1 to 12 class, they have already built that content in Nepali. So we had partnered with that Midas technology. And there's other one, Open Learning Actions Nepal, OLE, is a social benefit organization dedicated to enhance this education quality and to make the content in Nepali language. So that's how we have been collaborating with different organizations, and we provide them in online username and credential, username and password, and then how we have been providing this Nepali content. Over to Naveed.
Yeah, no, excellent. And I think that's also an important point here, is that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You told us about OLE, so you already saw that there is a content company who has put educational content. It's just that how you bring in them into the into your network, rather than again putting all your energy. So that's good. And that's I like this panchayat. Panchayat is just like data, folks. So panchayat is also a very common word in South Asia. It's just similar to what Aamer was telling us about the data. Aamer, before you answer, I have one question, and I think you perhaps can take this question. It's from Diana Franco, and she's asking, I want to know, please, how you handle the technical education or formation in this process, which was their initial level, and how did you handle it? So I think what she's trying to ask is, how did you handle the technical capability or education of the people on the ground when they were building this network, and how they became part of the process? Aamer.
Well, we asked a few people who were actually working in this field in our local area. So we invited them to let our champions prepare how they can, practically jump into this setup and can learn something that can connect the point-to-point connectivity wirelessly at the farm. And I think they did well. They got a little training. I think perhaps it was a 1 day or a 2 day. A person came and he taught them, the 4 young champions who were already energetic and wasn't. Main thing, Naveed, I've ever experienced with the agriculture and rural communities is interest. If you are interested in, have interest in some project, you learn very quickly. And it was not a rocket science thing that they were unable to, understand the technical like connectivity type of things. That was just a normal thing for them, how to install the whole project, and they did it. We were, we did it in a very, I think perhaps it was a couple of weeks type thing that they installed many of the things there. And now I think let me coming back to the content point, that the time is running already short. Well, what we are doing at the content, we I think that we need to develop the content in local language for the agriculture community and rural community particularly. Well, I am delivering the training, what I know about sustainable agriculture, the support of the digital tools with the agriculture sector and crop farming and livestock farming. I am delivering in the local language, that is Punjabi. You know, that was a session of my co-founder attended via Zoom call from Lahore. That's a 200 kilometer away from the site and from the data. I was planning for just 60 minutes, and I think we passed some 2.5 hours, and my throat was like swelling at that time when they were asking, because they went interested, and they were taking interest in the communication locally. Things were new to them. Farmers were really interesting to know the technology, what America is using, what UAE using, what Israel is using, or what other countries are using. So earlier they knew, or they have shown just the YouTube videos, and that those were in English. But like you were telling, that if they do not know English, that is useless for them for any training. But that day I was speaking Punjabi, the local language. Everyone was taking interest, and even when I was asking them to take some food or water, they were saying, "No, we do not need water. This is the water we are taking, and this is the information we need in our local language." So this is what I believe. We have to develop content in local language to help people understand and work productively.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. I mean, I wish we had more time, because I'm really feeling more energy now with this discussion. But the crunch line I could see is that local solutions need local involvement and local participation. And you don't have to really be thinking very high up on a very fancy stuff. You can just build using your local resources, and involvement of the local community is of key importance for a success of a community network. Thank you so much, Bikram and Aamer, for joining us today. I hope the audience had a very good and time, and we'll catch you folks in our next session. From now, it's goodbye and good day.
Thank you, Naveed, and thank you, everyone.